Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com. This class is called Yoga for Binding for Beginners. And we will be working on binding, learning how to bind. And binding, really what it means is taking your arm in one direction, one arm in one direction, the other arm in the other, in different postures. It can be it could be a standing posture, it could be a sitting twist. It can be where you have to wrap your arm around and grab hold of a foot. But how to do it safely, how to do it so that your posture doesn't get distorted. So that you no longer, it's all about trying to grab the other arm, it's about maintaining the integrity of the posture while binding. So that's what we have to think about, and it will all make sense when we start doing it. Okay, so this is great for beginners, but it's also really good for all levels, because you might have been doing your binding forever as a yoga student, and then you realize, oh my God, I've been doing it actually wrong the whole time. So that's kind of coming back to basics. That's what we're doing. We're returning to basics. So let's sit up nice and tall just for a moment. We're going to do just some gentle breaths to connect with the breath, get our bodies into a state of being rather than doing, stepping away from our life and all its stuff that has to be done into just being here for the next few moments, for the next 30 minutes. So let's just start to let the breath flow in and out gently, watching the breath. And when I say watch it, it's a felt sense. So you're feeling the breath as it expands in your rib cage, and then as the rib cage draws in as you exhale. And we're going to deepen the breath a little bit more. We're going to go to 5 counts just for a few breaths. So you inhale and exhale through the nose, and I will help count with you. So let's exhale, completely empty those lungs. You can exhale through the mouth here, and then take a deep breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another set, inhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One set on your own. And once you've completed that final 5 count breath, just return to a little bit less count. So it's about 2 or 3, but let the rhythm, you're inhaling and exhaling to a rhythm. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to begin with coming onto our hands and knees, but sitting. So you can sit on your heels or a cushion or whatever feels best for your knees and feet. And we're going to start with just understanding the binding, just getting the understanding of what it feels like. As you sit here, find your tall spine, and then you're going to keep that spine in this neutral position, even with binding. So reach your left arm forward, and the palms are facing to the right, and make a little fist. And then just swing that left arm back behind you until there's going to be a point where you can't go any further. There's a threshold. With the hand still facing, the palm still facing to the inside, but a fist. And notice if you start distorting the body, keep the body still. And then bring the left hand back down onto your thigh. Reach your right arm forward, make a fist, so palm facing to the left inside, Make a fist, keep everything as is, just take a breath in. Keep the body's neutral position, so there's nothing happens in the body. Reach your arm back now, right arm back. Keep the palm facing inward, fist, still with the fist. And then we'll get to a point you can't go any further. And notice how your rib cage wants to move, but you're not going to, it's not going to. And then bring your right hand back down. We're going to now bring your left arm forward, now the left arm again. Make a fist, palm facing in, and then swing your left leg, your left arm back. Okay, and then bend it. And now the palm is facing out, but you're making a fist. So you're resting your forearm on either the lower back, maybe even a little bit higher around the bra line, and pressing into the back. Now reach your right arm up and make a fist, and bring that inner edge of that palm, so it's a fist, but the palm is facing inside, right on between your shoulder blades. So you don't have to make a fist with that right hand if you don't want to. Actually, keep it flat. Right elbow lifts is even with your right ear. Now notice how everything starts to distort. Your chest lifts, and I want you to maintain the neutralness, if that makes any sense, of your body, your torso, and then release. And we'll do the other side. Right arm reaches, make a fist. Sweep the arm back behind you until finally it can't go any further. And then bend that right elbow and bring it behind you with the palm facing back, but with the fist still with the fist. Press into the back body, so either lower back or maybe slightly higher, depending on your range of motion with your left shoulder. Lift your left arm up and just keep the palm, the fingers spread. Bring the palm and place it between the shoulder blades, maybe as low as you can. An elbow lifts up right next to your left ear. So it's even with your left ear. I won't move it because I'll get it. And then press your right arm into that middle back, elbow lifts up. And then now, as I can feel my rib cage wants to lift. But what I'm doing is I'm pushing my back into my right arm and drawing that rib cage in. And then release. Okay, just things to start to sense. So we don't want to take the arm and swing it around and force it. We want our arm to become part of the body, part of the posture. And you'll understand as we move on. Let's come into all fours and press back into a child's pose just for a moment here. So what these binds do is they create space in your rib cage for breath. They open up your shoulders, your neck, release stress. Inhaling, coming into all fours. They deepen your practice. So once you're on all fours, I want you to take your forearms on the ground and interlace the hands or separate them. So either one. And we'll do a few little cats and cows on our forearms. Exhaling, rounding the spine, and inhaling into your cow stretch, tilting the tailbone up. Exhaling, rounding, and start to feel into these shoulders. That's what we're concentrating on today. Lifting and opening up the chest, and exhaling, rounding. And then inhaling back into your neutral spine. Come on to lift back up so that your hands are on the ground. Round your spine like a cat. And this is the shape we don't want to come into when we're binding, just to give you a kind of a sense of what we don't want. And then inhaling into a neutral spine. Neutral is when there's no tucking, there's no tilting, there's just the spine is exactly the shape it needs to be, the natural shape. That's where we want to stay in our binds. Curl the toes under, lift your knees up, and press back into your downward
facing dog. Let's take a nice stretch here. Pushing the ground away from you with those hands, but at the same time gripping onto the mat. So you're giving these double messages to the mat. I want you, but I don't want to. And feeling how by doing so, you engage the shoulders, the arms. And let's take a breath in and take a breath out. From here, take a breath in and step your right foot to the outside of that right hand. And lower your left knee down and open that left leg out a little further to the left. Right foot is on the edge of the corner of your mat. And turn your right toes on an angle. So it's called Charlie Chaplin feet. And here we're in a lizard. So come on to your forearms or stay up. If that doesn't work, if you cannot go down any lower than you can't get down on your forearms, don't force anything here. Maybe one forearm, maybe both. And if you can take this a step further, curl the back toes under, lift your left knee off the ground. So this begins to work the hips, opening up the hips for binds, because binds also are hip openers, and I'll show you that in a moment. You'll see how this works. So if you're a true beginner at this, you might not know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you've never done binds. And lower that left knee down, walk your hands back up and step back into your downward facing dog. Do a few little pedals of the feet to loosen up those hips. Breathing in. And just continue to think about the mat as if it's, you want it, but you don't want it with the hands, so that you can grip, but push away at the same time. And you'll wake up those arms. And then let's come back to stillness and take an inhale and exhale. Step your left foot to the outside of that left hand. Lower your right knee down and turn your toes slightly out, that left toes, and back leg. You can bring over to the right a little bit. A nice wide stance here. And choose whether you're going, it's not choosing, it's just seeing how far you can go comfortably, and maybe forearms works for you, maybe not. And if you want to go a little further and you feel stable, pick your right knee off the ground. Let the head drop, opening up those hip joints and breathing in and breathing out. And then lower your right knee down, walk your hands back up, and then step back into your downward facing dog. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, walk to the front of the mat. Let's come down into a forward bend and give yourself a moment here. Opposite hand, opposite elbow. Shake your head no, shake your head yes. And then release the hands to the ground. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Hands together above the head. Let the hands float to your heart. Let's just do another set of these half sun salutations. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Not a lot of flow today. More information. Inhaling halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. And inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart. So staying nice and tall in Tadasana. I'm going to spin around so you can actually see me. In this next thing we're doing for the shoulders is you can bend your knees and come into a kind of a high chair pose, as if you're sitting on a stool, a high stool, a bar stool. If it gets to be too much, straighten the legs. Now, for your arms, reach them out to the sides like, these are called cactus arms. They're bent at a 90-degree angle. And fingers are spread. So inhaling, reaching the elbows back, draw the rib cage in. And then bring the arms together, elbows actually together. Let the rest of the arms pull away and spin the palms forward. So you're creating a V, if you can see
Might be hard to see it, maybe you see it, but a V with your arms. So the hands pull away, the wrists are not together, the elbows stay together. And then reopen those arms. Remember that you could stay in this chair, but you can also straighten up if you need to. And now from here, take your right arm underneath your left into eagle arms. So eagle arms, you're twisting palms together or backs of the hands together. If you can't twist, come into another version of this. Left arm is straight and you take your right forearm and pull it on your left forearm. Otherwise, eagle arms. Let's take a breath in, and as you breathe out, keep your elbows where they are, just drop your hands to the right and your head to the left, stretching out these shoulders. And then inhale, straighten the legs and release the arms, open them back up into the cactus shape. This is heaven for the shoulders. And let's just fold forward all the way down. And take the opposite hand to the opposite elbow. Take a moment here. Let yourself stretch and breathe. So you should feel as if you've taken several pounds of weight off, or kilograms off your shoulders. And then release your hands back down. Let's take a breath in and then sweep our arms back up into our mountain pose, Tadasana. Hands float to your heart. And we have the other side. So you can bend your knees if you'd like and bend your arms, cactus arms. Pull your rib cage in, okay? So we're going to bring the elbows together, keep the hands apart, spin the palms forward, and thumbs don't touch. They actually try and pull away, creating that V. So you can feel this in your shoulders, elbows up in line with your shoulders, and then reopen the arms into those cactus shape. And now we're going to bring the arms back and left arm underneath the right and twist. Or slide the right arm, straighten that right arm, bring that left arm, hook it around the forearm. Another option. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, now the arms drop to the left, elbows stay forward, and head to the right. And then lift up nice and straight, if you haven't already, with your knees, and reopen those arms into cactus arms and fold forward. And take a pause here. Come in, if you've moved, come back to the front of the mat, opposite arm, opposite elbow. This should feel really good on the shoulders. And then release the hands to the ground. Let's exhale, step back into our downward facing dog. Let's inhale into the plank. Knees down or up. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. And inhale into cobra or sphinx with forearms on the ground. Or cobra with hands on the ground and elbows stay bent. Let's press back into your downward facing dog. Take a breath in here, press into the ground or press away from the ground as you grip onto that mat. Inhaling and exhaling. Now bring your right leg behind you, step your right foot between your hands. And then lift up into your crescent lunge, so your high lunge. Hands now reach out to the sides. Make a fist, just like we did before, with the palms facing forward. Bring the arms back behind you. Twist them so now the palms are facing back, but they're squeezing together. They're a fist. And press into your lower back, or maybe slightly higher around the bra line. And from here, you're going to lift your chest up, pull the rib cage in, and push the arms into the lower back. So using the arms and the back as one. Yeah? And then release the hands, reach them up to the sky. Take your left hand inside your right foot and reach your right arm up to the sky or on a block, the left hand. We're now revolving lunge. So this is a chest opener here. Release the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Let's take a breath in and step your left foot between your hands. Lift all the way up into your high lunge. Whew. Reach your arms out to the sides. Make those fists, palms facing forward. Bring the arms back behind you. Now the palms face back, but they're squeezing into a fist. And place the hands like they're staggered, they're on top of each other, on your lower back or slightly higher. And then soften the shoulders down, press your back into the arms, and then the chest lifts, but draw the rib cage in. And what you're doing is, as with the arms and your back, your torso, you're creating this opening in the shoulders, in the chest, working together rather than against each other, and overdoing the shoulders. Reaching your arms up to the sky, place your right hand inside that left foot, slide your left leg back a little bit, reach your left arm up. Right hand can be on a block, and you can always place your right knee down. And then lower your left hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Let's inhale into plank. Let's exhale, lower down, chaturanga, inhaling into your cobra. And then exhaling, pressing back, downward facing dog. So that's from here, take a breath in and step your right foot as you exhale between your hands, flatten out that back foot and cartwheel those arms open, warrior two. So we're going to go into a bind, but without touching the hands. So just bring your left arm back behind you, just like we did earlier, with the fist, palm facing back. Press into your lower back, spin the right palm up, and then bend towards your back leg. But you're not taking your right arm and shoving it, or left arm. You're literally just, what you're doing is pushing into your entire forearm into that lower back, and your right arm sweeps over. And then take a breath in, keep everything as is, except float that right arm and place it on top of your right thigh. And from here, press down with that right arm. So rather than taking the shoulder and pulling it back, push into the back with that left arm and let the torso move as opposed to the shoulder. So this is part one of the binds. I'm going to have 2 parts to this. Just all of a sudden realize that. And then reach your left arm up. And then place your hands down, curl the back toes under, step back into your downward facing dog. From here, let's take a breath in. And as you breathe out, step your left foot between your hands, flatten out that back foot, and cartwheel your arms open. I'm going to stay in this position so you see the back of me. Reach your arms out to the sides, and bring your right arm behind your back. Make that fist, press into the lower back or slightly higher, so your whole forearm, as much as your forearm, can touch the back. Press into the back, reach your left arm up and stretch towards that back leg, but while still pushing into that back of that lower back, or the bra line, the middle back. And then from here, reach your left arm up, everything stays the same. Just place your left forearm on your left thigh. This is extended warrior. Flip your left palm up, press gently into that left thigh. Now, rather than just taking your right shoulder and pulling it back, I want you to push that right arm into the back and then twist from the torso. So the arm and the torso are working, and the right shoulder will naturally follow the movement. So you don't tug on your shoulder. So that's what I talk about, safety. And then let's release that right arm up to the sky.
And then lower the hands back down, step back into your downward facing dog. Oh. So that's the beginnings, starting point, part one of our, the binding. So before we come down, I want us to do a twist. Take your left leg, bring it in towards you, so right leg stays straight, and keep the left foot inside that right thigh. So take your right arm, twist it around your left leg, and left arm, just place it behind your back for a moment. So inhaling, and then as you exhale, I want you to bring your left hand, as if you're shaking, you're giving your hands a shake. So grab hold of it. So not interlacing, but palms to palms, and you're going in the vertical position. And then bring your left elbow and cinch it in towards your left side. Now, from here, breathe in, come up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, twist from as you pull the arms in, you're twisting from here rather than using your arms to twist you. I don't know if that makes any sense. So you become one with your body and you're twisting from the spine. Too often we twist from the shoulder and we lose the actual, we limit what the spine actually can do, and it's also a safer. So this is how we bind. We have to start to get our head around this, and then release. And let's do the other side. So I'll spin around. Left leg long, right or extended. Right leg inside your left leg. Left arm, wrap it around your right knee. Right hand behind your back. Just begin. So we all want to take our right shoulder and bring it back, and then but in binding, it's very different. So now take your right hand, place it on top of that left hand. You're giving it a shake. Right elbow cinches into your waist. So you're making yourself smaller, more contained. Breathe in and then twist as you squeeze those arms into your legs and squeeze from the navel. So this is how a bind feels. It is quite intense, but it's amazing how good you feel after you've done some of these. Even the binds that you don't end up touching your hands together, doesn't matter. You don't need to get the same benefits. Reach your arms forward. You just feel this beautiful lightness in your shoulders, openness in your chest. Come onto your backs and hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. So you will most likely feel your middle back, the muscles of your middle back working. Open the arms out, and let's just drop your knees to the left. Turn your gaze to the right. Spinal twist, very gentle twist before we settle into our Shavasana. So part two, we'll take you into, which will be the second video, will take you into the actual bind itself with some warming up. Pick your knees back up, give yourself a hug, forehead to knees, and reopen the arms out to the sides, drop your knees to the right, turn your gaze to the left. And let yourself settle here. I have never, and I've been teaching for a long, long time, have never had a real instruction on how to bind safely and just properly. Usually it was always, well, I have to grab hold of my hand, and I forced myself to grab hold of the hand, and then I lost the integrity of my postures. And also, you could hurt your shoulders. So there's a lot. Is very important if you're going to bind. This is to do it safely, properly, but you also absolutely love binding. It becomes fun and invigorating, revitalizing, all those wonderful things. Let's now enter into rest, which is Shavasana. And let yourself settle down, closing the eyes.
taking these moments, 2 to 5 minutes. You can always turn off the YouTube, the recording, so that you can rest. And I will ease myself up into my easy seat. So that I can seal the practice. So I didn't say at the beginning, but part 2 is going to take you through a similar stretch, but we're going to actually experience what it's like to bind. But you have to warm up enough. You need warm shoulders. You need your hips nice and open. So as we bring our hands in front of our hearts to seal our practice for this yoga for binds and for beginners, thank you so much for being with me. I'll see you soon.